Welcome back, humor consumers, to the Life Happens, Laugh Anyway podcast. I'm comedian Tracy DeGraaf.
I'm Cathrine, co-host, bestie.
Good morning, Cathrine.
Good morning.
Oh, it's so good to be back in the pod lab today.
It is.
It's kind of gloomy outside as we record, but it's sunshiny in here.
It's merry and bright in
yes,
here.
even though the corner is dark. I have a lamp in the corner.
I miss it, Tracy.
Sorry, I am using the extension cord for some Christmas lights.
You know what? I've been wanting to ask you.
What?
And I haven't. Oh, I'll just do it now
Okay,
on our
what?
unedited podcast here.
What?
Why don't you get another extension cord?
You mean buy another one?
Yeah, or...
I hadn't even thought of that, actually.
Oh.
I just needed an extension cord to plug in the whatever it was that I needed to plug in. And so I took it from the pod lab, and now it's dark over in the corner.
It is.
I will rectify that for our next recording.
Great.
Okay, note to self. Cathrine cannot stand it.
That would be great service.
It would be. And our lights here went off.
So our map.
I will put new batteries in there.
Oh.
Yeah, we have a map.
It's really dark.
I'm sorry. We have a map of the world in the pod lab, and it has these little battery operated
LED lights,
yes, around the map that illuminate it, and the batteries went dead.
Yeah,
I got things to do.
But over in the other corner, you have a beautiful
Christmas
aluminum tree.
Yes,
tinsel tree.
Yes,
and it's adorable.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. I do love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now that we've cleared all that up, let's get down to business. Welcome. If you're new, if you're new to the Life Happens, Laugh Anyway podcast, we are just two best friends that talk about stuff. We think it's entertaining, and you should too.
And relatable.
It is relatable. It is. And this is episode number 101.
Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah, when I wrote that down and in preparation for this episode, I put down episode 101.
I know.
I was very excited.
We're both shocked because we're not very consistent, and we have commitment issues sometimes, but we've been... we've been
good.
Yeah.
Lately.
101.
Yeah.
And counting. So we release new episodes once a week, every Wednesday at noon. And as we speak, it is Wednesday and it is 10:40 a.m. So this one will be dropped. It'll be fresh.
It will be unedited.
Yes. And as you receive it, we'll just be, it's so fresh.
It's raw.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to hear the ums.
There's not going to be any ums.
Well, I hope not. Yeah.
All right. We have sponsors, Cathrine.
We do.
We're so excited.
Okay. Well,
let's talk about the initial sponsors. Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead.
Kenny and Ron, our husbands. And then we have...
Puffin.
Yes, Puffin.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, we call them nicknames and it combines to Puffin. But let's talk about our Patreon sponsors.
Yes, so exciting.
Yes.
We have Joan.
Yes,
and we have
Joan.
Dar.
And
we have
Courtney.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you,
excited.
friends. I know. Mm-hmm. It is very exciting.
I told Emily yesterday.
Yeah.
And she goes, that's it? I wanted to
That's a lot.
I wanted to say, well, what do you have?
Yeah, what
Big
does she have?
0.
Does she have any sponsors? No.
No, but they haven't, put a Patreon out. But
okay.
Still.
All right. Here's the thing. Emily, by the way, if you don't know, is Catherine's daughter. Yes. And she helped us in the beginning.
Yes.
Just to get everything set up because we didn't even really know what a podcast was when we started. We really didn't.
No.
And we weren't listeners of podcasts, which now we are.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, thank you, Emily, for your confidence.
Well, she backpedaled after that.
Sure.
I think what she was getting at was that I was so excited to tell her.
Yeah.
And the sound of my voice probably sounded like there was going to be a lot more when I said, guess how many consumers we have.
Oh.
Contributors.
Yes. So Joan and Darlene and Courtney have jumped over the line from consumers to contributors.
Yeah.
And now they are humor contributors at $5 a month. Mm-hmm. So roughly $60 for the whole year. They are contributing to putting this podcast out, and we're so thrilled.
We're very grateful.
Extremely so.
Mm-hmm.
And so we encourage everybody else to take the jump too.
Yes.
And you'll just see two, middle-aged women get all giddy over whatever.
It's like Two Broke Girls. Remember that sitcom?
Right.
I'd never watched it, but I know it existed.
Yeah, but that's the concept. All right. let's move on. Our topic today is customer service. It's going to be a very exciting ride, so buckle in. We have a couple takeaways. We're going to talk about what experts are saying about the decline of customer service, especially post-pandemic. We're going to talk about why it is declining, and then how can it be fixed. It's going to be very exciting. We have a inspirational close waiting for you at the end of this podcast, so don't tune out. Just continue to listen till the very end. And then we have a call to action, so don't miss out on that. Did we decide what our next episode is?
Oh, we didn't.
All right. Well, we'll think about it.
Yeah.
We've been, okay, this is the truth.
Yeah.
We have an editorial calendar that we've been working from, and we have been procrastinating the topic of procrastination for months and months and months.
Because I'm not excited about that one at all. Just going to put it out there.
I get it. But we're going to put that one on the front burner, which I think it's hilarious that we've been continuing to pass it up.
I wish that we still would.
No, we're going to do it.
Okay, great.
So maybe our next episode will be procrastination. All right, Cathrine, jump into the topic. You've got an article there. What say you? What are the experts saying about the decline of customer service?
Well, as you said, what say you? I'm going to say what I've got to say.
Go ahead.
First.
It's coming, people. Here it comes.
I wanted to do a customer service episode because we are all being serviced one way or another every day, all the time. And I've noticed a big shift in customer service. I've experienced it. I know you as listeners have experienced it. And I got stuff to say about it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
And yeah, we're going to share, well, hopefully we both will share a little bit of our experiences. So we'll do that.
Well, tell me, like, why all of a sudden you're like all lit up. You're like, even though the corner is dark over there, you are like shining bright and you're all animated about, passionate about what you have to say. Tell me what it is about customer service that has you all in a tizzy.
Well, as Christmas is approaching and I'm out there more doing some shopping online and also out and about. And so, but what really has sent me into this, the catalyst is a bad experience that I recently had.
Ooh, do I know about this?
I don't think you do, actually.
Then tell me.
Do tell. If you don't have something nice to say, come sit next to me.
What happened?
Anyway, well, I had an issue with a product and a service combined. And I had called the customer service and I got placed on hold. Well, when I finally got a person, put it that way. I finally got a person. I go over the entire story. This person says to me, "Oh, let me check on this. Hold, please."
Oh, no.
Disconnected.
Oh, yeah. Fun.
I was infuriated. And, one of the biggest things I think about is when somebody who is working a regular 9-to-5 job and they have these issues, how on earth do they get this? They can't be on hold all this time, right?
I see.
Yeah. So anyway, I got disconnected and I gave up. I said, forget it. I'm not dealing with this. I don't have time for this. And I thought, how wrong is that?
Yeah.
And this happens all the time.
And do you feel like that's their goal, is just to get you to give up? Like,
I know it is because I found some studies.
One thing that comes into my mind when you say that is the music that they play when they have you on hold sometimes.
Maddening.
You would think that they would do some research on what is some music that people can tolerate, not this other stuff.
Well, that being said, so in addition to like businesses and things like that, the healthcare system, when you're on hold with them and you're trying to get things straightened out, they don't have to please you. This is just really out of their own goodwill to be cordial, and especially the government. So I recently had issues with that too.
Jeez, you got so many issues.
Yeah.
What if they, instead of giving you like the elevator music or the whatever music that they give you that is on repeat, and I think that might be the thing that the straw that breaks the camel's back is the fact that it's just droning on and continuing. What if they gave you jokes? What if they gave you comedians, humor? Would that diffuse anything, or do you think that would even rev you up more? Like, this is not a laughing matter.
That's a good question. I'm guessing that would not help. That would probably frustrate
So
the
there's
listener.
there's no
That
hope.
reminds me of when you go to get gas,
Oh.
and then you turn on, and the darn voices come
Yeah,
out of
right,
the thing,
right.
and you're like, oh my gosh, where'd they come from? And it winds me up. I hate it.
Okay, and then what if they gave you like the soothing sounds, like when you're getting a massage, and it's just like they're not like that's just sounds of the ocean, or just
Yeah, I do think that could
That
be
might help?
helpful. I do think that.
okay.
Yeah,
Pretty
possibly.
soon you're asleep.
Yeah, well, that's what they hope, right? Where's night? Where's my blanket? Yeah. Yes.
What did I call for? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what they're hoping.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
Well, and one more thing that was somewhat recent. I switched to phone services
Right.
to a cheaper phone service that's great service in terms of usage of the phone and
Sure.
and so forth. But the customer service, when you have an issue, there's absolutely no person you could speak to ever.
Right, because they
Ever.
can't pay them because they're giving you this product at a lower, or this service at a lower fee.
So they don't even have those annoying call centers where, you're transferred somewhere and it is what it is. But this is online chatting only. But first, you have to select the problem that you have with their standard problems.
Right, they're
And so
frequently
you
asked questions.
Yeah, so you have to pick one, and then of course that's not my issue. So then I type in what the issue is, and then it says, and it gives you a suggestion of what
to do.
Yes, and then of course that's not it. So finally you get an online chat, and you're back and forth, and you cannot leave your computer or your phone, whatever it is you're using, because you have to be able to respond. Because if you don't, like if you're in the middle of this and that or work, it'll say, "Are you still there?"
Yeah.
And you want to say, "Yes, I'm still here." But anyway, so
Now, wait,
Yes.
pause 1 second, put a
Yes.
little place mark there. This seems to me to be a trend. It seems to be a trend in these larger companies. In fact, I believe it was Frontier Airlines who just announced maybe a week ago that they are getting rid of their entire customer service department.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Oh, good.
So I didn't know that.
Yep.
But I did read that the highest percentage of dissatisfaction with rage is in the airline industry.
Oh, hello.
Although the airline industry has the least amount of actual customer service problems. I think it was like 5%, but they have the highest when they do have those problems of it being mixed with rage.
Well, especially when the plane crashed.
Oh, you know what I'm thinking
no.
of when you worked in the airline
Yeah.
industry and your response to someone's lost
It'll
luggage.
pop up.
It'll pop up.
Okay, wait. Let me go back. Let me explain this in case you're not aware, because we have talked about this in the past,
Yeah.
but you may not have caught it.
Yeah.
I worked for Southwest Airlines for 4 big long months. months.
There we go again with commitment
Right.
issues.
But to my credit, it just wasn't a fit for me.
Right.
Mainly because my family life was such that I was needed in other places. And the location of the airport versus where I lived is long period. Anyway, but during those 4 months, I did experience travelers,
You sure did.
air travelers.
Yes.
And people, I'm going to tell you what, when you fly, you become a different person. You do.
Yes.
Because if that airline loses your bag, you lose your mind. Your mind was in the bag.
Well, and there's so much angst anyway
Yeah.
with travel,
There is.
especially going through TSA and all of the stuff and the deadlines and getting to your gate and all of that.
Yeah.
It adds, it's mounting pressure anyway.
Oh, it is.
And then you get somebody as blasé
As me.
as Tracy DeGraaf.
Yeah, because people would be in line.
It ain't no thing.
I worked in the baggage service
Yeah,
office. We
right.
called it the BSO, the baggage service office of Midway Airport.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest,
Yeah.
they call them stations of Southwest Airlines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm there with my Southwest lovey smile. They're the love airline.
Yes,
with
that is true about you, for sure.
Yeah. And
Yes.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
And the people would come up and they would have their, my bag isn't here. And I'd be it'll pop
That ain't no
up.
thing.
It'll pop up. And people would get infuriated by that response because they perceived it as though I didn't
Care.
about their bag. But I knew what I knew, which was like, your bag is not lost forever. It's just lost for now. And it's in a system.
Yeah.
It's in a large system. It's as if you ever lose like a pencil in your purse or a pen and you
It's in there.
It's in, it's in there. And you go digging for it, but you can't find it. Well, you're not panicking like it's not in there.
Right. Like the luggage didn't go to, the Bermuda Triangle.
Right.
It's
It did not disappear
But still.
for no reason. It is in a system. And when it pops up in the system, it's going to get back to Chicago.
yeah.
And people just didn't know that. So I did curb that language.
Yes.
I curbed
yes,
it.
because
I curbed
they
it.
want empathy. Like, oh,
Right.
sorry, you don't have your aftershave.
Sorry.
Or your restless leg pills.
You're supposed to carry that stuff with you. Just saying.
Yeah.
Oh my mercy. Yeah, people we had one time, I worked the late shift oftentimes, like, late, like 11 o'clock at night and later, whatever. Anyway, I'm standing there and a whole line of people is starting to come to the BSO, to the baggage service office.
I was like, Tracy, what's BSO?
The baggage service office. They're all coming. Okay.
Oh,
and we
boy.
hear over the radio, like in our internal whatever, a full plane of passengers
Oh, no.
from Denver to Chicago. All the bags are gone. They're
Oh,
gone.
no.
They didn't make it on the plane. So they had to get the people there. And the bags weren't going to make it for whatever reason. Who knows? Maybe the belts in the back busted, whatever. Somebody had to use the bathroom, couldn't make it. I don't know. But they called it failure to load.
Oh.
That was our like little cue.
Okay.
Failure to. So the passengers are there, but their stuff is not there.
No, that's
Times
that could be.
100 and some people.
Oh my gosh.
So they all have to get in line at the baggage service office to let us know what their bag looks like, what their name is, what's in the bag. All that stuff has to happen. And I used to put mints in my pocket
Yes.
because,
Ugh. Gross.
well, they were individually wrapped,
No, I
Catherine.
know that, but I'm sure they were hot and, probably a little sticky
No,
inside the. No?
no, it was just
Okay.
those lifesavers, the little
I
white
know.
lifesavers
Yeah.
with the little wrapping.
I know what you mean.
Okay. Well, I learned in 4 short months that the traveling public could benefit from a little mint action. That and some sugar to help either, I don't know, calm this stuff down or rev it up, whatever way we're going. But I would put the mints out in front of me like a barrier between me and them. And I would be like, would you like a mint? Free mint while you
Now,
tell
I'm
me up.
thinking some of the people on the opposite side would be like, what's that supposed to do? What are you telling me?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
was just
No, I know what
literally
you're-
grasping at straws.
Yeah.
But when there they are from Denver and they're all lined up out the door, and I'm thinking to myself, you people should be grateful because here you are. And 2 hours ago you were in Denver, or 3 hours ago you were in Denver, and you're here all in one piece and your bags are coming. And but see, what they don't know too is the airline is going to deliver the bags to their door of wherever they're staying. That's why they just need to know, where am I taking the bag? So they need to know who you're staying with, what hotel you're going to, whatever. So we're going to have somebody hand deliver your bag. You don't even have to wait for it.
Well, that sounds all good, on one hand,
In
but on the
theory.
other hand, it's
a royal pain.
Yeah, it definitely
You
is
should-
an inconvenience.
You should see what happens
And-
when the bag pops up and it's crushed because it got stuck between two whatevers in the system.
Yeah, that reminds me when my cousin Christy and my sister Wendy went on a cruise together. They had to fly to their destination first, then get on the boat and all of that. Well, their luggage was lost, and they had to get on the boat
Anyway, right?
anyway.
Yeah.
They had no clothes for days or their stuff, and both of them were out of their minds upset. They had to spend a lot of money on the cruise, to buy cruise clothes
Right.
and things like that, and it was definitely very frustrating for them.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right.
customer service. So
Yes.
that being said,
Mm-hmm.
I am also going to share
Go ahead.
so the biggest problem, the decline of customer service is a real thing, and it was pre-pandemic. It's even worse now. They're saying everything from lack of employees, lack of funds to really train these employees, and one of the biggest areas of the most problematic is technical stuff. So online, email, they had said. No, I don't have that.
Yeah, and during the pandemic,
software.
everything was going online, and maybe companies were equipped for that, and maybe they weren't. So there could be some little glitches that are just being ironed out because they're glitches.
Yeah. Well, and it's saying that it typically takes, now I don't see it in front of me, but like 6 steps in order to get something resolved. And that's after speaking to 2 to 3 different people on the ladder.
Wow, that's a lot.
To get, some kind of resolution.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big problem. I recently, this is another thing that happened to me. I got hacked. So when I worked for the government prior to doing the post office, but I was doing the, oh my goodness, the census.
Oh, right.
Okay, so then, I hate to admit this, but then I got on unemployment. Well, I got hacked.
Right.
Okay.
I remember that.
Well, because it was a security issue, the government was saying, well, we don't think you are who you are.
Right.
I could not even prove, because of lack of customer service or lack of whatever, I couldn't prove who I was to the government, and it never did get resolved. So that was that. And then I recently got hacked again with PayPal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so PayPal affects Venmo. So now I'm having trouble accepting money for some of the craft things that I do. But I didn't know why I couldn't do some of these things, because it doesn't tell you you've been hacked. It just doesn't let you do the things you should be able to do. But anyway, it was maddening. And to get that resolved, this is extremely recent. This is like a couple weeks ago. It was all of these crazy steps to fix that problem of proving I am who I am. And well, first figuring out what the heck is the problem. Why can't I use this? So I'm just saying that because back to dealing with this issue of customer service, it's a real problem. So, and you had one too.
Well, in similar fashion, I mean, what's going through my mind is you're describing things about the government, and you're describing, some of the problems you've had with PayPal. I had a similar issue with PayPal and Facebook.
Yes.
During the pandemic, I was not advertising comedy shows because I was not doing them. Mm-hmm. I was shut down completely.
Yeah.
Where previously I used to advertise roughly a small amount, like $50 to $100 per show. I would throw out adverts out there on Facebook based on the demographic where I was going, right? And they were pretty effective, I thought.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I had an ad account, but I was not using it during the pandemic. Well, somebody hacked me and used my account to advertise a truck for sale. Like, yeah, I know. It was so weird.
Oh my gosh.
And somehow they circumvented it. Like, they took the money out of my account, but it didn't go to Facebook. It went to them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And when I contacted my bank, and I contacted PayPal, and I contacted Facebook, the bottom line of what happened was they shut me down. Because I couldn't prove who I was, or I did all the steps that they asked me to do, but I couldn't talk to an actual person.
Maddening. Maddening.
It is.
And I'm sure you mentioned when you got a hold of someone, and I'm sure that was a feat just to get.
Actually, I never did get a hold of an actual person at Facebook, or no, I think I did get a hold of someone at PayPal, and my bank worked it out with PayPal.
Oh, okay.
But I had to contact my bank, and they answered the phone, thank God. But okay, so the United States government, Facebook, these big entities that are so big, and they're all automated, right? And they shut down my account. My little account of how many thousands of followers or whatever. I think I had like 3,000 or 4,000 followers, whatever it was. That's nothing. That's not even a drop in the water of Facebook, right? They just shut down the account, and now I have to start over from zero, even though it has taken me whatever it has taken me, to get to this point. I have to start out zero. I have to start over.
Yeah.
So, friends, if you have been following me at all on social media, I am shutting down my former Tracy DeGraaf comedian page because Facebook is forcing me to do that. And I have to start over as Tracy DeGraaf Comedy. So, because they will not allow me to purchase advertising through that former page, because they don't want to risk whatever the risk is to them.
Yeah.
So I have to forget all that. And anybody that was following me there, it's not that many people, But even my personal page, I have to shut down. I have to shut down both of them and start over.
It's absolutely maddening. It really is.
So follow me at Tracy DeGraaf Comedy.
Yes.
On Facebook. Please do that. Yeah, you're up against the wall, and I have no recourse. And that really is, I think, part of the frustration of where we are in terms of customer service. We're forced to use these entities. You're forced to use the U.S. government. You're a United States citizen.
Yeah.
Okay, you're an American.
Right. Yeah.
You have to. Okay, so you're forced into it.
Yeah.
But you have no recourse.
Yeah.
With what happened there.
Right.
Same thing, kind of the same thing with Facebook. I mean, yeah, like we talked about this before we came on the air, and we talked about, well, you could choose not to be on Facebook. I could choose that. But then I can't advertise my gigs. I can't advertise on Facebook.
It's not like the Boston Tea Party any longer where you could just boycott.
Yeah.
It's just almost impossible. And the same with, whether your cell phone company that you use, if you use a different one, you're going to get the same problem.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I was reading about. We have nowhere else to go.
Yeah, and when it comes to like Frontier Airlines, how they're going to no customer service, well, they're a low-cost airline anyway. They're no frills, right?
Right.
And people who are using that airline, they're just hopefully going to not expect much.
Well, that's just it. Oh, so, okay. So that was another thing I read, is that we expect less, and we're just more and more used to it as consumers.
Yeah.
And that's not only with these big corporations and technical things, but you go into any box store anymore, big box store, and it really depends on the personality of the employee, because they're not really training these people to go out and above and beyond with service. They're not at all. And I know when I go into a big box store, whether it's a big, a well-known hardware place or let's just say Walmart or any place like that, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
At what kind of service you're going to get. And, the attitude of the employee, the cashier, what kind of day they've had. It's terrible.
Well, and we're doing more and more ourselves.
Oh, I can't stand it. I just said,
Sorry.
Where was I the other day? I think it was Meijer.
Okay.
And I said to the cashier, I wasn't even thinking about our customer service episode.
Yeah.
And I said, I want you to know I appreciate you. I said it to the cashier. Yeah. And she had a nice disposition. She greeted me as I was, coming into her checkout line. And I said, I said, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And I said, I also appreciate that you're a live person and I don't have to check myself out. I said, I hate that, because our one Walmart is almost all
self-checkout.
I can't stand that. When I have a big order, I don't want to be scanning my vegetable or punching in the screen and saying, okay, these are bananas, and figuring out, is it organic bananas or is it regular bananas?
Yeah.
And is this a green pepper? I can't stand that. So anyway, I said that to her. I said, I also appreciate that you're a live person and I don't have to check myself out. And she said, I don't think Meijer will ever go to that. She said, we'll have a few like they do now, but it'll never be.
Oh, she doesn't know.
She doesn't
know.
I thought that too, but still, that's what I wanted to hear.
If the bigwigs at Meijer decide that this is going to save us a big load of money.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, just looking at like what you were saying is that customer service was already on the trend, leaning toward more automation. Mm-hmm. Let's just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what the future holds in terms of technology and purchasing habits and so forth, right?
Yeah.
And with inflation, the way that it is right now and where it is in terms of our groceries, if stores can figure out how to mitigate costs so that they can offer some more savings to customers, I don't know if they even care about that or if they just care about their bottom line. But if they can figure out how to do more with less and be competitive in the marketplace, I think that they will at least look at it. I don't know how big, how quick a turnaround that would be.
I did read that those are some of the reasons that company, obviously, because they're saving money. You think about way back when Aldi decided, we're not going to do bring your own bags, or you can buy our bags, and bring the shopping cart back and you get your quarter back.
Right.
Okay. So that's not a big deal, but checking yourself out and all these other ways to cut, to be cheaper and to have savings passed on to the customer, that's all good and fine. But what I read, and I think it was Forbes, and also there was a big study by Arizona State University, they are saying, though, that nonetheless, in the end, they are receiving losses. If they spend the money on research and also training and also customer contact, they will have better results and they will have more money. That was the end result. And then on the Forbes side, this article was for businesses, and we're not talking small businesses because they survive on good customer service. Right. They're not going to survive if they don't have good customer service.
Yeah.
So, but in terms of the big companies, they have solutions on how to do that. It's a big deal, though. I mean, it's a big undertaking to change the direction that they're going in. Yeah,
I do think that when they do the analysis of what's going on, right, and it all boils down to dollars and cents.
Well. Yeah,
and
if
if customer service is profitable, then it'll be implemented. If it's not if AI is profitable and this more like chat log or chat bot or whatever they want to call it, if all that is more profitable, they probably go that way. It's interesting.
Yeah, it does say that. By making their systems cumbersome and user hostile, companies end up paying out less in terms of refunds. That's another reason why they're doing it.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
I do think that the marketplace drives decisions. However, how long does it take to get those decisions up the pole, as they say? I don't know.
Yeah.
It'll all shake out.
Yeah. Well, on some positive notes,
yes.
I'm gonna mention some places that I love that have
let's
great
do it.
Customer service.
What's that?
Talbot's.
Chico's. Yes, Chico's. I love Chico's.
It's just a different service level. These are usually mature women that are working in these stores, and I'm assuming, I'll just say that from higher up, they are getting proper training and they're hiring the right people and that's another thing I read about is that they're now, since the pandemic, there's a significant decrease in people getting fired because there's such a
They're
lack
afraid
from the pot.
they're afraid they're never going to find anybody to replace them.
Yeah. And they're accepting things they never, as employers, that they never would have in the past. But anyway, back to places like, Albert's and things like that. They're dealing with mature women, and mature women are not going to put up with bad service as much as like a big box place or younger people.
Yeah.
Is what they're
Interesting.
Yeah. I also love Chick-fil-A.
Oh, yeah.
Because they always say, my pleasure.
Yeah, they do.
And yes, I've never had a bad experience at a Chick-fil-A in terms of service. And
can I tell you something that baffles my mind? When you walk into certain stores and they go, welcome in.
Yeah.
Welcome in.
Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
Yeah. I don't know.
Welcome in.
Welcome in.
Oh, okay.
But
I'm in.
adding that word in.
Right.
It does make kind of a...
I mean, I remember Blockbuster.
Oh, yeah.
They had to greet every person that came through the door.
I thought that was annoying.
They had to.
I know.
Right, because they would be not looking at you at all.
No, it was a security thing. So that's why
Just
they did
acknowledging that you were in the store.
that. So that you knew they had an eye on you.
Oh,
so if you were
really?
to pinch English, if you were to steal a DVD...
Oh, is that what that means? Oh,
that's what I had
Catherine's
learned.
mom's from England. That's why she.
You're gonna pinch a DVD or a VHS tape. They've got their eye on you.
Bugger.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And so why do we go back again and again? Actually, every Sunday, plus more sometimes, to our little breakfast place,
which we love. If
Which
you're
we
in
love.
Peatone, Illinois, the Cozy Corner.
Yes,
That's the little restaurant that we love.
we love. It's great customer service.
Okay, not only that, they have really good food.
They do.
The food is phenomenal. The coffee is great. And Marilyn and her staff. Wonderful.
Yes. But I'll bet you we wouldn't go back as frequently as we do if the service was terrible.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I love that place.
Yeah.
All right. So we've talked about what the experts are saying. We've talked about why we're in this boat. Now let's get to how. How can we fix it, Cathrine?
Well, you and I, it's so funny because we always talk so much before we actually record.
Yeah,
and
we
get
do.
off these rabbit
On
trails.
tangents,
And
yeah.
you had brought up some good things about how to respond as a consumer, as a customer. So that's one way that it can be fixed, because I think especially now, a lot of the people who are servicing us are on the defense because they're getting a lot of crazy people, right? I mean, we have to acknowledge that. So how we respond could also soften, I don't know, the heart of the person that's servicing us, right?
Well, but my response, so Cathrine and I disagreed. We not necessarily disagreed totally, but we had differences of opinions in terms of how this can be fixed, because my viewpoint was more, it's an internal choice on behalf of the consumer to not allow whatever the situation is to steal your joy. And I referenced the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, self-control. If one taps into all of those resources, then is it possible for Facebook or PayPal or the U.S. government to steal your joy? Probably not.
Right. In those circumstances where you're pretty much up against a wall. Right.
Because in that scenario, the only thing you can control is yourself. You can't make a big enough splash in those environments. You know?
Yeah.
And your response was coming at it from a different perspective. Let's put it that way. We don't disagree. We're just coming at it from different perspectives. So tell our audience your response to that. How can it be fixed?
Well, we don't want to just roll over either. And I read somewhere, now I don't have it in front of me, but one of the things that I had read from these experts, I mean, these are places like Forbes and Wall Street Journal and things like that. I know. One person was, she's an executive for one of the online hiring companies. And they had said that part of the problem is that we are just they didn't use that word, just rolling over, but we are accepting more and more of the bad customer service because we're used to it.
Yeah.
And we are not writing letters to the corporate. We're not boycotting. We're not doing those things. And money speaks volumes. And we're still spending at these stores or whatever it might be, or service or whatever. And money talks. If we boycott, or we write these letters, or we say, hey, I am very dissatisfied. Now, this doesn't mean go off the rails like a maniac. It just means the appropriate things to do instead of just blowing it off and hoping you give up, which is what the strategy is.
Yeah.
That is part of a solution, is to start saying, hey, your employee was very short with me, very rude with me, whatever the case might be.
And it might not even just be an employee. It could be that the whole system, your system of putting me on hold and then dropping the call made me want to come through the phone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So in a nutshell, our two different viewpoints. Mine was more focused on the internal, looking at yourself.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that.
I know, but I just want to sum it up.
Yeah.
In terms of not allowing these external things to steal your joy. And yours is, while that is true, it also can be true and is true that we can express our dissatisfaction with the process or whatever our experience was to the top dog, even if it's, the president of the United States, the government, the Congress, right? Tell your senators, you do have a right to write.
Yeah. Right.
And that's right. Amen. Okay. Do you have anything else that you want to add to that?
No.
All right.
Well, I will add this.
Okay.
So according to Forbes, on the business side, this expert, he says that your customers determine the fate of your business. We all know that. And he said that to build a sustainable company, clients must be catered to on two levels. He said that these are the baselines. You should deliver both what you promise and what meets their needs. Your product or service should trigger an emotional response: excitement, curiosity, enthusiasm. And he says that whatever your business is, the journey of that client or that customer will go a long way. And that's the better approach. And I think it's worth mentioning that because many of us, we're not just all consumers and customers. We're also people who are servicing others. And,
Well, you had said it earlier when we were just discussing this before we hit record, that we're always in a customer service setting. We're always either receiving or giving customer service, even if we're not in a retail setting where that's our job.
Yeah.
Customer service. Just even the way that we interact with people is so that leads us to our scripture.
Yes.
And our inspirational close. And we have two scriptures. Cathrine chose one and I chose another one. So Cathrine chose Colossians 3:23, and it says this: whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters. That's a great scripture to keep us mindful, of the example that we're setting, the tone in which we're communicating with people, even under the most stressful circumstances. Yeah. Just choosing to have the tone. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart. Work hard. Work well, as if it's for the Lord.
Yeah. I use it just as I am taking care of my mom.
Yeah.
I have to remind myself that, I'm not getting a paycheck. And I mean,
right.
But I have to view it that way when it becomes difficult. I just want to say this. I ran into Belinda recently.
Oh, sure.
She's a friend of ours in the community. And we were sharing stories about taking care of our elderly parent. And I was really reminded and inspired by her because she said, she had to quit her really good job in order to take care of her dad.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, but it's an honor and a privilege, and I feel honored to take care of him, even though, she's not really at retirement age, and I was really inspired by that.
Yeah.
So anyway.
And I'm sure that there are many people who perhaps are listening to us right now who might be in that situation where they're not getting quote unquote paid or paid well for a job that they're doing, whether it's caregiving for an elderly person or a family member or in some other area. But yet to try to find the honor, that comes with the role of providing some sort of product, service, or care for someone else, even when literally it's tough.
Yeah. I just want to add this with Belinda that makes her statement even more hefty and meaningful, is that not only did she have to quit that job, but she might also lose all of her, I think her pension even, and her benefits, retirement related, and so forth. And so that's a big thing. So to say, but it's an honor. Yeah. I was really lifted.
That's moving.
Yeah.
All right. And the scripture that I chose to leave on for this topic of customer service is Philippians 2, 5-8. And it says this: in your relationships with one another, have the same mindset as Christ Jesus, who being in very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness, and being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself, became obedient to death, even death on a cross. So the perspective that I was looking at it through the lens is the one of humility. Here was Jesus, God. He not only was he God, but he wasn't even considering that a thing to be grasped. And he came to this earth in a humble way as a servant. He came in as a baby, and he was not welcomed, but even by the religious leaders in church. He had a small group that really welcomed him. Right. And he accepted the cross with humility. So a little bit of humility in the customer service realm, really on both sides, right? Yeah. If you can come at it with, instead of making the demands like I deserve.
Yes, right.
I expect. If we come at it.
I'm entitled.
Yeah, the entitlement. The verse says your attitude should be like Christ.
Yeah.
Done.
So in both of those scriptures, it all comes down to Christ. It all comes down to serving him and internalizing him.
It does. And in the end, just like you said with our friend who is giving up, she may be sacrificing some things of the world, some worldly things, but in the end,
eternal.
In the end, she's giving it up for a higher value, which is the honor of serving her dad. Right. That's what she's looking at it as.
Right.
Wow.
Who
would have thunk that we would have such spiritual insight from customer service?
Yeah.
All right. A call to action. We agreed that the call to action should be to practice these scriptures from Colossians 3:23 as well as Philippians 2, 5-8, to do our best to put these scriptures into practice. How do you do that, Cathrine?
Bind them on your heart.
Yeah. Focus on them.
That's right. That's the advice from God himself. That's in the Bible. Bind these words in your heart and your mind, your soul.
Yeah. Focus on them. Read them. Write them down. Put them in your car. If you're in the line at the customer service, pull them out and read them. And just do your best to have that mindset of Christ. Yeah. And you can't go wrong.
Right. Are you going to mention our other call to action?
Which was?
Well, prayer.
To pray about it?
Yeah.
Well, Cathrine didn't like that.
Well,
No,
that's not what I said.
You okay, tell them what you said.
I said, I'm in a bad place right
Yes.
now, and I feel bitter. And yes, I said that I feel that for some listeners who are just barely keeping their head above water,
Right.
that's going to sound...
Cliche was the
I
word
did
that
say
you used.
I did say that. Yes, I did. But I know the truth. I know that we are supposed to pray about it. But
So you didn't like it.
okay.
This is the Life Happens Laugh Anyway podcast.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Truth be told, yes. When Cathrine walked in my door this morning to record this podcast, which this is getting there, it's 11:30.
11:30, and we have to have this. I'm not editing this.
No,
Obviously.
it's just going straight up, and
Yeah.
the show notes are going to
gosh.
be, here it is. But she's been under a lot of pressure and a lot of stress. It's the holidays, and then there's some extra stuff going on, and then caring for her mom, and being a caregiver of someone who has Alzheimer's. It's almost like there's this cloud over your head that can burst open and rain on you at any point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if the caregiver gets a flat tire and can't make it to, tag off the other one, or one forgets her phone at the thing and go,
Yeah.
different things that happen affect how you roll. And it's like you're a point person for all of this. And so because of that, so you're underneath all this pressure. Then if you have on top of that, at the customer service, they hung up on me.
Yeah.
It just creates more.
As you're saying this, I'm feeling like, what ran through my mind was, it sounds like a pity party. Like, I don't even live with my mom. It's just that I feel like I'm hanging in the balance all the time. We're already down to the wire as to when we're recording this episode, and I almost couldn't make it this morning. Thank you, Joan, for being able to be there. If you're listening, Joan.
Yeah, and she's our patron contributor, and she's your mom's caregiver.
She is, and
we
I
so
love
appreciate her.
We all do, yes. And so that's how I felt. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm here. That's how I felt when I walked in the door.
So you have additional pressure on you, and that's why when and everybody out there is just trying to put one foot in front of the other.
Mm-hmm.
That's all of us on this planet, right?
Yes.
And then when you have the added pressure of, okay, you've got life, and then you've got some customer service nightmare, it can create problems.
Mm-hmm. Well, it just put you over the edge. There's a movie about that. I forget who's in it, but he blows his stack. Oh, that reminds me. You could go postal.
Okay.
I just recently read something too when I was doing the research for this, that the post office has gotten such a bad rap, but studies are showing that more and more people actually right now have sympathy for them and are appreciating their services.
Their effort.
I'll just say, because I worked with them.
Yeah, and it makes me want to get a bigger mailbox, as you said on one of our episodes.
Best gift you could give your mail carrier.
Yeah, big mailbox, fit more stuff in there. Okay, we got to wrap.
Yeah,
because we got to.
I know.
We got to upload this. Well, our next episode.
I just rolled my eyes.
We think is going to be on procrastination, unless we procrastinate
Let's put it off till next year. Let's just do
No.
Okay.
Sorry, that was loud in the microphone. We're doing it.
Okay.
All right. Well, you've been listening to the Life Happens Laugh Anyway podcast. I'm still comedian Tracy DeGraaf.
I'm still Cathrine.
And see you next time.
Goodbye.